by the time I started practicing Buddhism, I had enough ists in my life. You know, it's like I'm a Jew, I'm a feminist, I'm a lesbian. You know, I am afraid of getting older. I'm not afraid of dying. I'm afraid of getting older, yeah, because I'm watching my parents' age and my parents who have children and a financial cushion to some degree. And I can't envision how I'm going to live out my old age.
I lost custody of my children. They tried to commit me. You know, that was my option. Give up custody, or I didn't even realize at the time. Remember, it was 1967, 68, and being homosexual was a major disease. And your husband or your parents or whoever was in charge had the right to commit you.
When the phone call came through and said my mom's not coming home.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I remember where we were sitting. I loved that house.
Oh. Yeah, it's a great
my
house.
grandmother's house in Yonkers, and I remember saying, "Oh, your mom wants to talk to you," and I remember where I sat in the kitchen, in that little cubby hole, and my mom saying she's not coming home, and how he wanted to tell me that my mother was a lesbian, but I don't remember how I felt. But I just remember the scene.
But it was definitely, you know, this sense of abandonment. And it definitely affects you growing up. It changes your perception of the world pretty much forever. But I think it really hit us when we got home. And she was there to greet us, but she was there to greet us and say goodbye.
Oh, it was very chaotic. I was in love with a woman. I was torn between these two things.
When we got home from New York and my mom was there to greet us and say goodbye at the same time, my dad wouldn't let her into the house. She could stand in the foyer, and she said goodbye in the entryway hallway. And at one point we were both kind of like bawling our eyes out and clinging to her, and he had to kind of separate us. I was kicking and screaming and crying, and he took me upstairs.
It's a good thing I don't remember.
I was hoping not to do this. He took me upstairs into the bathroom and closed the door, and I was like trying to get out of his arms and screaming and crying, and I could hear my mom downstairs, and I probably started screaming and crying to the point that I just couldn't move anymore, and she finally left. But it was gut-wrenching.
It was very sad. I would think about my kids all the time, and the rules were very strict, and they made it really tough for me to see my kids at first. But, you know, after a while I'd fight for different things to get to see them, and I never once did I miss a day of visitation. You know, it was really tough, and I just kept going and kept going, and you know, now things come up and I think about it, and I sometimes have apologized to my kids. At least I've tried to my daughters, and they go, "Ma, it's okay, we understand." But my son and I can't discuss this at all, unfortunately. It's still painful, you know. Makes me cry. To this day, it does. Still hurts.
Do you understand maybe what that decision was?
I do. I mean, I won't speak
Yeah.
for Joyce. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I can see that she did what she thought was best for us in the times, and I think that the battle she would have had to have waged to get us could have caused, who knows, media stories. It could have caused the demise of her complete mental health. It wasn't like she knew there was a network that could support her. It wasn't like it is now, where you could go to an organization and say, I need help, and 7 lawyers would jump up to help you and squash my dad's behavior. So I think she didn't have the support she needed, and I think she knew that even though it was not a great situation, it was probably the best for all of us.
I asked both my kids if they would be willing to do an interview for the documentary, and they were not willing, I think. My son, I know when I talked with him later, said he was concerned that some people might see it and think poorly of him, which was kind of disheartening because it didn't feel like he was willing to be publicly supportive of me. My daughter was willing to let us put pictures, however, of her into the documentary, but her husband was not, so no interviews, no pictures. Then I asked my brother and sister-in-law if they would be willing to be interviewed for the documentary. And they thought about it, and then my brother told me that they don't support the lifestyle and felt like if they were interviewed for the documentary, that would be supporting the lifestyle. And that was pretty hurtful, and I did ask him, I said, how do you separate me from the lifestyle? And he said, it's not easy. It's not easy.
My family's response is mostly confusing to me. I told you I was going to cry.
I know.
It's okay. Yeah. You know, in a larger issue, why people care about other people's sexual orientation. I mean, there's so many other things for us to worry about and come together about. You know, whether it's poverty or war or drug abuse or health issues. I mean, why? And, you know, in a larger issue, why would you take such a position on that?
I've never been so happy in my life. This is me. This is who I am. I love getting to meet all these people that I'm meeting. I love building up this community that I'm building up. And I feel like I could cry when I talk about it because, you know, I'm 73 now. I was 69, 70, somewhere in there when I came out. And I just feel so grateful that, you know, the last part of my life is going to be as happy as I expect it to be. I would like to find somebody for myself, however. If I do, I do. If I don't, well, I guess that's okay too. But it would be nice.
I think that aging as a lesbian can be different. We don't automatically have the family in place. We have to create our own family over the years and keep it, nurture it. But we also have a freedom. We have this ability to create what we want in terms of our old age. You know, we stopped in some ways having to care for the society in terms of being women, what may have been expected of us. You know, we've gotten over that already, but I think that there's another place that we can, in terms of our relationship with ourselves, be able to say, okay, you know, I'm aging now. My body is not going to be able to do everything it used to be able to do. And yet, where can I still, to quote Marcia Piercy, be of use? And it may not be, you know, being a grandmother. It may not be, but it might be maybe being an aunt. But more importantly, it's about the celebration of really croning ourselves, hagging ourselves, celebrating our way of being, you know, all of that experience garnered, all of that, you know, common work of weaving, of making, the dailiness of, you know, every day. I think that we do become, you know, very precious and valuable, and we need to share that.